Heyo! Whew. Welcome. For now, it's just me here. Dave has work, and Mo is picking up kids or something. She will join us in 15 minutes, maybe, something like that. So you have to do it with me. Ah, yeah, not much to do about it, but hey, here we are for Jodi Day. Jodi Day. It is Jodi Day, finally. We are here and on Twitter. We are here also at Dave's channel. And let's see if he put my stream on his. Dun, dun, dun. No, he didn't, but I will make him a favor and put Dave's here. Ta-da! So he can get your pity likes. Dave says, he's getting there. Yeah, that's what she said. All right. Yeah, I completely agreed with Dave. Since Dave abandoned you, you should all go to my channel and thumbs up, down, talking, active chat, active community, you know everything. And yes, we will continue today's Jodi stream. And a bit of grifting, you know it all. Me and Dave has this friendly competition about thumbs up, super chats, and gifted memberships. And whoever gets the most wins that day. So it's up to... Oh. I don't wanna...
Hello.
I was having such a good speech going here, and there you are.
Well, I have a few minutes outside the courthouse here. I'll jump in and watch a little.
All
Hello,
right,
everybody.
Hey, folks. Yeah, I just finished 90 minutes of Young Thug motion to suppress evidence hearing. 2 cops testified about the traffic stop, and one of them was a Fed. They were both from the FIT team, which apparently is about major crimes and gang violence and stuff like that. So they stopped a car who had tinted windows.
Is that the car because it had tinted windows?
Yes.
All right.
So they stopped the car. They took the driver out, put him in the back of the squad car. The Fed took a woman out and questioned her. And from the Fed testified to that, I didn't isolate her. I just took her to the side away from the others. And according to the Fed, no, she gave me permission to search the car. Okay, do you have body cam? Did you wear a body cam at the moment? Yes. Do you have the body cam footage? No. Okay. Is there any way that is saved somewhere? I don't know. Okay. Can you please show us your report? I didn't write one. But the traffic stop and the evidence in the car, it was approved by the judge.
Of course it was. This is a judge much like a couple of other judges that we've seen. I don't remember his name, but it's
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was, but we will continue that after Jodi's, because we are here for Jodi and we desperately need something funny. And last time we were here, we discovered that Jodi has her choice of moisturizing her face might have, well, something about squirting, something in face. Yeah.
I just put a chat up, or not a chat, a pull up. I'm trying to get up to all the YouTubey things right now because I'm a little late and I'm not staying. I just figured I'd come hang out while we're waiting on Mo. My hair's all messed up too. Jeez. It's rainy, you know. My hair goes a frizzy. Okay, I got all the YouTube things done, I think.
Okay.
And we're good.
Let's see here. Jodi Arias. Yeah. There it is. And we are from Vielhammer Media. And thank you to Vielhammer Media for doing the great audio. And I will put his links in the description below as soon as I get some time over, because today is all over the place. Oh, thank you, Gigi. Yeah, Vielhammer Media.
Here you go. And he is linked in my description as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, please touch my poll ears.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, sure. It's, my brain is a bit scrambled. Let's just look at something funny.
Yes,
Okay.
let's watch Jodi. It's always a good time.
Yeah, that was funny. No. Yeah, I'm all over the place.
Melissa.
Okay. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Stray. Hey, Gigi. Hey, Sholi. Hey, Fed. Gigi. Shenigram. Oh, Sheni's here. Hey. Hey, sis. How you doing? Dave, Rob Mill, Iris, Genitals, Farm Girl. There's a bunch of people here. Nice. And everybody's interested in what's in Jodi's face today.
I can't read that name, but oh my god, the chat. Who's Sorn? Is that Sorn? Is that Sorn in the chat? SOR something. It's all weird letters.
Jolie. Jolie.
Is it about
S-O-L-E. She spells it in runes.
Oh, okay. Hello, welcome. I like your chat. I'm not going to read it aloud, but yes, it might just.
Oh, yeah, I can't put that up.
But yes, you can all read it in the chat.
Yeah. We let's just see where they are going today.
That never happened, did it?
No.
And talking about, for example, these things about the movie and that sort of thing, whether or not you believed it or not, it was part of the fantasy of that conversation, wasn't it?
Yes.
So, for example, if you just listen to one of these snippets or one of these exchanges, we can see that perhaps it's just all a fantasy. Let me have this record there. Move for the admission of Exhibit 496.
No objection.
496 is admitted.
And Matt, before we listen to it, in this particular excerpt, you would actually indicate that you believe that maybe this making of this movie could be artistic. I want you to listen to that.
I was saying, I'm kind of envisioning one, like when you're kitty fucking me,
but like I'm looking with my head tilted back, so all you can really see is like the outline of my chin and some of my cheek and jawbone, and like my ears and hair, but you can't really see the rest of my face. You could just see a dick between two tits, like in focus with the neck and everything sort of a little bit blurry, but they are like kind of artistic, you know what I'm saying?
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know if we could do that because your legs may take up the spot where the camera should be, but I think we could get something like that. Or vice versa. Ooh, I've got more ideas. Okay, go ahead.
Well, we'll work that out. Worst case scenario, we could do it from like the reverse angle or just like the other way.
And we could still blur my face and put your cock in focus. You have a good looking dick, baby. I just want to let you know.
You like my dick?
Yeah.
Every man loves to hear that.
It's like, it just, so smooth. And it goes so, the first time you fucked me up, so good. So good. You went just where I needed it. Just went where I just needed it bad. You fucked me so right.
You do say that it could be an artistic endeavor, right?
Yes.
And in fact, that comes from the fact that you like to take photographs, correct?
Yes.
And that's sort of one side of your life that you have, correct?
Yes.
And so, again, the fact that you're talking about it doesn't mean that you're actually going to do it, right?
We were kind of tentatively planning it, but I don't know whether we were actually going to do it or not.
Right, and it's a situation, again, that sometimes when people are involved in a sexual situation like what this appears to be, they get caught up in the heat of the moment, and they say things that are related to what's going on, correct?
I would agree with that.
I mean, why did she save this recording? She claims that it was because, she saved it because Travis might want it. There's no evidence Travis even knew she recorded all of this. And then she lost the phone for years. But suddenly she found it. Yeah.
Yeah, suddenly she found it. Well, she wanted to, I mean, her defense is, and by the way, Scott had popped in and asked what was going on. So this is Jodi Arias. She unalived her boyfriend in a sort of a jealous rage. But they had a lot of smexy time. And this case is known for all the graphic imagery and phone recordings and things like that. The smexy time phone calls that have been recorded and played in court. And if you want to see all of this woman on the witness stand, who is the defendant, you can see her in my Discord because we have all of Jodi's 3 wonderful holes in Discord. But that's this case. And she's been on the stand now for 12,000 days, and she's got another 12,000 to go. And it's all kinds of craziness.
Yeah. And
this case is 10 years old now.
Yeah, the case is 10 years old. She was on the stand for 2 full days of direct examination, I think, or 2.5 days.
I think it was more than that. It was.
Yeah, she started on day 17 or 18. Then
17
to 21.
I want to say it was at least 3 or 4 days. I want to say.
Yeah.
I can look to make sure. But yeah, she's been on the stand for a while.
Yeah. And now she has been on the stand on cross-examination since day 22, I think. And she will remain there until day 24. Until day 26. And then you have jury questions. So she was
2 full
on the
days of
stand
jury questions.
she had a grand total of 16 full trial days on the stand, I think, in the end.
Yep.
Yep, he's the only.
Not yet, Justin.
What? Did it land on the left side or the right side? Did you get a pinky eye? I mean,
Pink eye, yeah. Oh my God. Just what we're referencing is Saturday's stream. There were some questions about. I'm already. By the way, I monetized and I was immediately went to limited. So at this point, I don't care. But she was talking about feeling like a whore, and the prosecutor asked her why she felt like a whore, and he said, "Well, when he would jizz on my face and throw money at me afterwards, I felt like a whore." That was just amazing. And then the prosecutor reiterated it, and oh my God. Open court. Oh, it's good time. I love
Yeah.
Jodi.
And during this conversation, you and he actually discussed whether or not you guys should stop this particular activity of having sex, don't you?
Stop having sex?
Or stop having sex, stop having porn sex, that sort of thing.
I think we did, yes.
Well, let's hear what you actually said.
Don't record stuff and write stuff down you don't want to have read out or played out in court. Ooh.
My client's learning that one the hard way.
Yeah.
I don't really know if we're having sex.
No objection.
497 is admitted.
I agree, Justin. The prosecutor was definitely liking that line of questioning.
Yep.
Or just don't
yeah,
murder.
that-
But, you know, sometimes
yeah.
it's, you know, it happens.
Yeah, just he went
Just
around the
about
corner and I had my knife up and he ran around the corner 18 times.
Yeah, well,
So, yeah, if you could pause it real quick. Let me see if I can give a more accurate.
on your face.
Jodi Arias lives in California. She kind of boyfriend hops and is a bit of a boyfriend chameleon. And then in 2007, she meets Travis Alexander at a convention. She kind of falls head over heels for him. He's a Mormon, so she is much a chameleon. So she joins the Mormon faith, and then they get into a bunch of it's not vanilla sex, but it's basically normal stuff. But to her, it's like all kinds of risky stuff, and they like talking dirty to each other. She's very immature about a lot of these things, but she has a pattern of kind of every boyfriend's cheated on her, right? So it's amazing that you're not the problem, even though every boyfriend's cheated on you. So anyways, they break up. He lives in Arizona. They break up. She moves back to California for a bit, and then, but apparently she still likes seeing him from time to time. He turns up unalived, stabby, and then shot in the shower. The amazing thing is that she's a photographer. She actually took pictures of herself doing it in the moment, accidentally. She kept like hitting the shutter button. But her first story to the police was that she wasn't there. Then they confirmed that she was in fact there because they have pictures of her there, all of her, right? All of her parts. And then she says, "Oh, I was there, but ninjas did it. Ninjas broke in and did it." And then at trial now, she's saying self-defense, that she did it, but he was extremely abusive. So this whole line of questioning of her has been about how abusive he is. And the prosecutor is really pushing back on that, saying, well, he wasn't abusive. You engaged in this activities, using all three holes, doing all this stuff because you were into it. Here's this sex tape that you recorded. You were really into this, right? You didn't make it for Travis. You didn't whatever. You were into this. So it's not abuse of any sort. That's where we're at right now. So hopefully that's practical.
Yep. That's a clip that so we can play that instead of explaining it every time.
Yeah, right.
That's gonna be cool, actually. It's gonna be.
Try to get one pad while coming up your face.
Yeah, definitely.
Like mid-shot.
You make me so horny. I seriously think about having sex with you every day, several times a day. Think about how it feels to have your cock deep inside of me. As I remember it, and I want it again.
I'm really glad we started fucking.
What?
I'm really glad that we started fucking.
Well, if it's wrong, then I don't want to be right. Because I'm glad too. Like, seriously.
Generally, I'm like, okay, it's Jodi. I'm just Jodi. I'm Jodi.
Like, I don't know. What's wrong is that I wish we were doing it before. Because that was good. And
once we did it, why not do it?
I know what you mean.
And it appears that there's a bit of a conflict because the two of you keep engaging in sexual activity, correct?
That's correct.
Whether it be by telephone or whether it be in person, correct?
Yes.
And this issue involving you and he having sex, it also created a conflict for him, right?
Yes,
And you knew that it had to do with the LDS faith, right?
yes,
And you were also LDS, and that created a conflict for you too, right?
yes,
And so it wasn't a situation that it was a secret to both of you that perhaps, since you were both members of the LDS faith, this is not what you should be engaging in, right?
that's right.
But neither of you cared, right?
Objection, also speculation.
Sustained.
Ma'am, you still continue to engage in sexual activities with him, even though you had this conflict, didn't you?
Yes,
And even though he says he has this conflict here, he still continued to have sex with you, right?
yes,
So even though you were two conflicted persons, you still continue to engage in this activity, right?
yeah, that's what the conflict was about.
Right. And in fact, you even had a description of the two of you, didn't you, in that conversation that we just heard from May 10th, 2008, don't you?
Yes.
Let's hear what you said. I move for the admission of 498.
No objection.
498 is admitted.
Remember, thumbs up, down, or whatever on both channels. Helps promotes us both towards the YouTube algorithm.
I gotta check and see, am I beating you yet?
Hang on, I thought I heard somebody. Let me just double check. Oh, I think it was just my charger. All right, we're good. Coast is clear. Let me get back into the groove. Things.
I mean, the pictures of the today, you're still yeah.
Like, what are we going to do with ourselves? We are just horny toads.
Ta-da!
Ma'am, that's just an acknowledgement there that both of you are into each other sexually, correct?
That's correct.
And there's no indication from anything that we've heard that you were offended by the physical sexual activities that were going on, right?
Right.
It may have been a conflict, but the two of you enjoyed each other. Or at least you enjoyed him as much as it appeared that he was enjoying you, right?
Yes.
And you had at least that kind of relationship to the point where you actually had a name for him or a pet name for him, didn't you?
Yes.
Let me show you this exhibit.
Oh God, what was her pet name? Do I need a new emoji?
Yeah, I have that emoji now for members.
Take a look at exhibit 499. Do you recognize it?
Yes.
It's a text message that you sent, right?
Yes.
What's the date?
The date is 21st. Actually, it would have been the 20th of January.
And you're saying that it was the 21st of January because of the time difference, right?
Yes, it was the 20th, but it shows the 21st.
Move for the admission of exhibit 499.
What does she write to him in that text message?
I want to know what the pet name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're dual streaming.
No
Splash
objection.
Mountain.
499 is admitted.
Splash Mountain. I don't know.
Splash Mountain. Oh God, I hope it's Splash Mountain.
Oh God. Oh. Yeah.
Nice 20th century.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Let's just stop for a while and admire. This is good.
Scott, you got to go back and watch Saturday's stream.
Oh yeah.
If you're loving this so far, oh my God, you will love Saturday. It was the best. It was 10 out of
Yeah.
10 for sure.
Yeah, and we had Mo here at the same time, learning
Yeah.
all about it.
Look at the court reporter's purple shirt. He's dressed like the defense counsel today.
And that's you sending him a message saying, hey, Hadi Biscotti will call you. Will you call me before you hit the sack, right?
Yes,
And tomorrow morning, thanks, my dear, correct?
that's correct.
And you actually called him Hadi Biscotti, correct?
Yes,
Oh,
And that's because he was, in part, because he was special to you, right?
yes,
Because apparently at that time you were in love with him, right?
I believe I was. Yes,
And it's something that two people who are intimate have in common, right?
yes,
But he really wasn't that special to you, was he?
I wouldn't say that.
Well, let's take a look at another exhibit.
I wouldn't say that.
287.
That's what you actually said.
This is to Ryan Burns. You see that? It says Ryan's PPL, Gmail.
Right,
You're me. You see that?
yes,
And you say to him, at some point before you go meet him, hey, Hadi Biscotti, what's new, right?
yes,
Isn't that the same thing that you called Mr. Alexander?
yes, I call a lot of people that.
So what you're saying is, when you call that Mr. Alexander that, it didn't mean anything then?
I wouldn't say it was meaningless, no.
It could also mean that when you started calling Mr. Burns Hadi Biscotti, was that Mr. Alexander really didn't mean that much to you, right?
That's not what it meant.
Well, it could though, based on what we see.
She's answered the question.
Sustained.
You called them both by the same name, right?
Yes.
And you only had one encounter with Mr. Burns, correct?
Well, I met him once and then I saw him again, so that would be twice, but if you're talking about the physical encounter, yeah,
Right.
one time, I guess.
Yeah, one time, right?
Unless you count shaking his hand, which I guess that doesn't really count.
I didn't hear what you
I'm
said.
sorry, unless you count we shook hands and spoke briefly. I don't even really remember it, so it's pretty brief, but
In terms of a one-on-one with
Yes,
Mr.
that
Burns,
would
it
be
was only
one.
one time, right?
yes,
And you're already calling him Hadi Biscotti, at least through this PPL, or at least through this instant messaging thing, right?
that's right.
Hey, Mo.
Hey, Mo.
So, Hadi Biscotti is not like calling Fry Griffin. I mean,
I was wondering if you were going to catch that or not.
I mean, ma'am, that's at least guys say sweetie. At least Mr. Mo admits that he doesn't remember any of the kids' births, birthdays. I mean, he has a general idea he was there for 3 of them. But I mean,
You know, both of their names are cringy, but for very different reasons.
Hadi Biscotti, what the actual?
Hadi Biscotti and the Three-Hole Wonder.
That's
It's
a
horrible
TV show
superhero
that
team up.
Hadi Biscotti and the
Did I
Three-Hole
miss
Wonder is a
any-
TV show I don't want to see.
You know, it's
The
not
only thing you
new
missed-
Starsky
the
and
only thing
Hutch, but
The only
But
thing you
Disney
missed of
might run it.
relevance was her saying that he had a really nice penis.
sure Hallmark's going to come out with a card about that very soon. Sorry I unalived you, but your dong was awesome. You know, I think guys would like to have that.
Here, I'm gonna head into court. This is like a 2-person show, right? We have to do at least 2 people. So I'll dive out. Thank you very much, Mo, for carrying on for me.
You are welcome.
You enjoyed yourself now.
So was it the length, girth, or was it just aesthetically pleasing, or was the motion of the ocean good?
I
Or
think
do
she
I
said
wanna even
it's
get
really
into the,
pretty.
like-
I can't remember exactly how she phrased it.
That is a damned lie. Those things are not aesthetically pleasing. I don't care what you say. Give up.
All right, y'all have a good one. Have fun. See you guys.
If you put googly eyes on them, though, they're hilarious.
Oh, we
Um,
already had dangly bits, but googly eyes, that was new.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying I use Photoshop for anything, but when you're playing around with Canva to learn things.
Oh, what? Okay.
So they both got Brazilians? Did he get a manzillion? I need, you know what? Why is it when I come in, it turns into a fever dream?
It's a gummy dream.
No, actually, that's Black Friday. That's why it's a Rumble exclusive. You're right, Gregor Smith. Every woman is different. So maybe some women enjoy the aesthetic pleasingness of the one-eyed monster. I should not speak for every woman. You are right.
Maybe Dave
Although
can join me later this week when I'm doing a dramatic reading of Young Thug lyrics.
that would be awesome.
Under the pseudonym Hardy Biscotti and the Three-Hole Wonder. I'm Hardy Biscotti.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
Oh, this is amazing.
This prosecutor going home to his wife, or you know what? I still think we need to make a muffin basket or something for this poor court reporter. I mean, this poor guy looked like he just went home and prayed and prayed and prayed to forget everything that he had heard.
Or he went home and said, "Honey, you want to try something?"
He was just like,
And-
"Honey, have you ever heard of this, and the other thing?"
Yeah. Both me and Dave kind of hoped that she would call him Splash Mountain because of, well, the...
Oh, dear Lord. You know,
I mean, it fits kind of what they did to each other.
it does. You know, for Mother's Day, I think I'm gonna give my mom a card that says, "You know, Mom, you think I might be a bit of a screw up, but I'm not a Jodi screw up."
Yeah. And show her Saturday stream just to make sure that
Actually, it'll say, "Most of my boyfriends are still alive too."
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, it works on so many levels. I love it. Ta-da!
Okay, but let's watch a bit more.
Yeah,
Maybe something. Yeah, let's see what's coming up. That isn't Travis.
And exhibit number 286, it tells us a little bit more of what actually happened when you went to see him.
Oh, God.
I want you to go down here and read what he says, starting with the ha-ha, if you can read it. If not, bring it in. Go ahead and read it out loud.
It says, haha, well, we woke up, we sat there for a bit, and then we held each other, and then we started to kiss. Then you said I could not be comfortable, and you adjusted me.
So it does say that you told him that he could not be comfortable, and so you adjusted him, right?
Yes.
And then what else does he say? It's above it.
Then you pressed your body really close to mine and started to kiss me.
So you were on top of him, weren't you?
Yes, well, kind of on top of him off to the side a little, I think on his left.
But you did start to press your body close to him, right?
Yes.
And then you say what? It's right above it.
Well, I think it's out of order, but I say, well, I would gladly give it to you.
And then right above it, he asks.
Can I ask what else you might give me?
And your answer is?
You can ask, but you'll have to wait and see for that one.
Bottom line, you're sort of already involved in the same sort of give and take that you were involved with Mr. Alexander, correct?
Yes.
Then there's a number of stories that you gave in this particular case involving the killing. There was one that you gave on the 15th of July of 2008 to Detective Flores, right?
Yes.
There's another one that you gave on July 16th of 2008 to Detective Flores, right?
Yes.
But then you still gave another view of what happened to 48 hours, right?
I think I was inconsistent in my lies, yes.
So let's take a look at what you may have said 48 hours. I move for the admission of Exhibit 500.
No objection.
500 is admitted.
Don't write stuff, don't record stuff you don't want read out or played out in court.
Smoke signals are the only way to go. Get yourself flares, allegedly. Oh gosh.
Let me talk about, I'll talk about this, and nobody knows this. The detectives know this, because I've spoken with them. Boy, this is really hard. I'm trying to think if I want to say this or not. There's a lot of evidence that places me at Travis's house the day he was, or not just the day he was killed, but the day, that most of that week. And there's a reason for that. And that reason is that that I did see Travis the day that he passed away. And a lot of things happened that day. I almost lost my life as well. And I was told that I can't speak about it or tell anyone about it because my family's life was in danger over it. I was told that if I did, that they would all die and that I would die. And that was kind of the end of the story. There was an argument among some people, two individuals, that one wanted to take my life, and one said, that's not why we came. And
no one came.
At one point.
Yeah, and this is for two reasons from the prosecution, I believe. One is to show that she had said something completely different, and also showing how she talks while she's doing it. Because this is very similar to how she testifies in court, how she speaks here.
Well, that, and she's now talking about ninjas. I mean, this is her formulating, well, no one's believing, this, and I have to line up with the fact pattern that I know what is forming. I've left all the evidence that points to my guilt. So how do I concoct a story that fits within the parameters of the fact pattern, but doesn't lead to me, unaliving him? So let's add ninjas.
Yeah, Justin, her first story wasn't there. Her second story, which she is talking about now, in the interview, and what she said to the cops, ninjas did it, or masked people, one man, one woman, or something like that, who unalived Travis in the shower with lots of stabbing and a gunshot, and then threatened her to not speak of it or anything. And here she is in court and has for 24 days said it was self-defense. And she does it in the exact same voice, same pattern, everything. Mo, will you take this one?
Well, see, now Jodi was a little offended when Travis may or may not have had happy fun time finished excitement all over her face, then I guess threw candy at her for reasons.
Yeah, and also
And
she cleaned the house, and so he left money for her on the dresser.
And apparently the lawyer just loved using that phrase over and over, and just watch the Saturday stream. It is a fever
Yeah.
dream wrapped in a sexual innuendo disaster. It was
Yeah.
hilarious. I nearly died laughing. But no, JKD Bucket does not mean she had egg on her face. Quite
No.
the opposite, in fact. The other part.
Yeah. Yeah.
The male
When you
contribution.
make babies, you need egg, and the other thing. We are talking about the other thing.
Malcolm Wilhelm, if he threw her hugs like Hershey Kisses, I will laugh my boobs off. Or Kit Kats. I don't know. Smarties, I do kind of want to know what kind of candy. I mean, I feel like the prosecutor let us down. I do want to know what kind of candy, like Pixie Sticks or something.
Well,
But
maybe it was Pop Rocks.
this is why we can't be left alone with each other. But yeah. And did she have lawyers at this point? Because this is definitely a jailhouse interview. Why the
I
hell
think
is
she
she having
had.
a jailhouse interview?
I think she had lawyers at this point, and I think they advised against her giving interviews. And this is not the lawyer who is in court, because she changed lawyers a bit. And
I can't imagine why.
yeah. Yes, it is that she had enough DNA on her face for a CSI episode. They could have sprayed her with luminol and she would have, yeah.
Yeah, and
She
apparently
looked
that
like
was
a
a point of
painted lady on a rave.
it was a Jackson Pollock painting. She was going to an art gallery later. But anyhoozle, that's what that was about. And yeah. I can and why in the world this yeah, I don't want a lot of this Atheist Ant is right. I mean, this trial kind of goes off onto all the tangents that I love, but this could have been about 45 days shorter
Yeah.
had we not
I mean,
gone.
they could have done all of this in much less days, but here we are enjoying
But
it.
I mean, then we wouldn't have had
Yeah.
this stuff.
Oh, let's see what else she has to say here.
The guy with the gun sort of succumbed to her pressure, I think, because he was holding the gun at my forehead, and I was on the ground on my knees, and I was near the armoire of where he kept his TV in his bedroom, and Travis was in the bathroom, and she was standing over Travis near him, and the guy with the gun was standing near me, and again this argument was going on back and forth, and I just remember holding my head and closing my eyes. And then there was so much that went on that day, but the short of it is he pulled the trigger and nothing happened, just a click. And I realized then that he probably, I don't know if that means that he was out of bullets, or I don't know what that means. You know, I wasn't that familiar with handguns. And so at that point I pushed past him and I ran downstairs. He didn't make much of an effort to stop me. But I could almost swear that I heard someone following me down the stairs, and I ran out the front door and I got into my car and I drove and I left.
Nowhere in that recitation or in any of the interviews that you gave with 48 Hours did you ever indicate that you had memory loss, correct?
That's correct.
Whoopsie.
And in fact, you gave a slightly different view of the same event. The 48 Hours on another occasion, didn't you?
Yes, couldn't keep my story straight.
Whoopsie.
vote for the admission of Exhibit 501?
No objection.
501 is admitted.
Here's something new. Dun, dun, dun. And everybody get over to my channel since Dave abandoned you. So you can give me all the thumbs up.
Again, I was looking down and going through some photos. He is really critical of himself. We're all our own worst critics. And so, some pictures he liked, some he didn't. And I was looking through the pictures and I heard, again, a loud pop, and I was hit on the back of the head. I don't think I was out very long. But when I came to, I was kind of laying next to the bathtub and the shower right next to each other. And Travis was on all fours on the tile. And he was, well, I say all fours, but one of his hands was actually holding his head. And I mean, he wasn't laying down or anything. He was kind of on his knees and on the, on his hands. And at that point, I looked over toward the entrance of the bathroom. There was a hallway and two people were walking down the hallway. And I ran into the closet. It's a big closet. And I was going to run out the other door, except he stopped me with a gun pointed at my forehead. And I was just, when you have a gun pointed at your forehead, you just do anything. So he told me to get down onto my knees and sit over by the armoire. So I just stayed there, squatting on my knees next to the armoire. And he left the room for a minute, maybe a few minutes. And she was in the bathroom, standing over Travis. And I charged her. I ran down that hall and I pushed her as hard as I could, and she fell over him, landed near the sink. There's two sinks in the master bath, and she landed near the left sink, near the trash can, close to the windows. And I started to pull on him, and I said, "Come on, let's go." And he just wasn't. He was sluggish, lethargic, and he just wasn't getting up, and he wasn't really saying much of anything. He was there, and he was conscious, and I could see that. He wasn't saying much. I was able to get him he was sort of not crawling, but he was kind of moving and was trying to stand up. And I was able to get him about halfway down the hallway when she came back at me, and we struggled for a few minutes. And again, she was doing what she could to overpower me, and she was kicking me, and she was stomping on my feet, and she was trying to kick my knees, and I was just kind of bending them or trying to do what I could. And he came back in the room. And again, I had to go back to where I was sitting and stay there. And that's when they both began to argue about whether or not I should die. And there was an argument that went on back and forth between them for several minutes. At least it felt like several minutes. And he didn't want to, and she did. And she kept saying why they should. And he kept saying, well, that's not why we came here. And, after we had gone through my purse again, he finally just pulled the trigger. And I thought, honestly, it's over. It's the weirdest feeling to think that it's going to be over at any second. And then someone pulls the trigger, but you're still there. And at that point, I just ran. I pushed right past him, and I flew down the stairs. And there's part of I wasn't even in my body. I think I was, but everything felt numb. I was hyperventilating, and my heart was racing. And so even as I went down the stairs, there was part of me, my brain was telling my legs, don't screw up, or you're going to fly down these stairs, and you're not going to get away. So I'm, trying my best not to stumble down these stairs. And I just went out as fast as I could and out the door and slammed the door behind me and got in the car and left.
And that's another version of the events that occurred on June 4th of 2008, correct?
Yes,
And they're not true.
neither of them. Well, it's all the same thing. It's just different versions. It's going to keep my life straight.
So the answer is they're not true, right?
Neither of them, yes.
Ma'am, you did also continue to talk to 48 Hours about coming to Mesa. You remember talking to them about that?
Yes.
And you remember talking to them about what your plans were initially? You remember about that?
Yes.
And the reason that you came out to Mesa, you didn't have a plan initially, correct?
Do you mean on June 4th?
Pardon?
Are you talking about on June 4th?
I'm talking about when we left Margarita.
What was your question? I'm sorry.
My question is, according to you, you didn't have any plans to come to Mesa initially. When you left Puerto Rico, correct?
That's correct.
And in fact, that's something that you told 48 out, right?
Yes.
Take a look at what you told them.
Yeah, and according to some information out there, she has since been diagnosed with the Amber Heard diagnosis, the hysteric histrionic personality disorder. So this is the original Amber Heard. And
Oh dear God.
me and Dave talked about it a few streams ago, that if Joni wasn't as famous and as rich, that's might have been what happened to him.
Yeah, and all joking, all kidding aside, I mean, basic humanity level, I feel very sorry for her, because what she deeply wants is connection, and every choice, every action that she makes because of her mental illness pushes people away. So what she deeply what she wants very much, and without treatment, without acknowledging her issues, is that, devotion and a healthy relationship. But because of her personality clusters, and if she doesn't, own her crap, so to speak, and really work on that, everything that she does, her basic personality, all the things that she does, will keep her from getting that. Now, she's still a crazy psychotic person that did something very bad. But, I do feel bad that the one thing that she desperately wants, she completely sabotages.
Yeah.
Ah, Jingles the pirate cat.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Say hi. Say hi, Jingles. I was yesterday. People told me I should do Jingles merch, and I will. I have some designs almost ready so hopefully it will be done so you can get it before Christmas. But so that is what I'm doing on my spare time when I don't work or sleep or do YouTubes. And for members, there's now a Jingles emoji.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then if you're considering being a member, it's $3 a month, or a new tier, which is $6 a month. And it's all the same. It's just for you who think they can spend a little more. Hello, kitten. Hello. Oh, aren't you cuddly? All of a sudden.
He's like, I left you another dead rabbit in the garage.
Yeah. I'm thinking about what either what is he planning or what has he done.
Thor is mad because I got a new chair, so I don't have the pillow in the back, so he can't sit on this. Is he polydactyl?
The what? The who?
Some cats have an extra thumb.
I don't know.
Sometimes it's a Maine Coon mutation.
No, I have no idea. I mean, he is just a cat.
Welcome to Cat Chat.
Him and his brother was found at an abandoned barn, and my friend took them in until he couldn't take care of them. So I took them in, and that was about 6 years ago. And since then, his brother Buster has moved over the field to my aunt. So and they look very, very similar. There's just the Jingles. It has a bit more white than Buster. And Buster now is very well fed. Very well fed. Now, this cat is 11, 12 pounds. Buster is almost 20 pounds. And he has this restless ear because he got a scratch in some fight or something, and then an infection, and then they closed it up, so it's all healed, but his ear is now cauliflower. So that's adorable. But we are here for Jodi. Let's
Yes,
play
okay.
a few more minutes so we can get us to a good stopping point. Yes, very affectionate for now.
Objection.
502 is admitted.
Yeah, and almost directly after this, I'm continuing the Young Thug coverage from. I don't know if I can redirect from my page, but I will get the links out to you. So before we end this, so you can get yourself there.
So tell me about this trip on this particular day. Did you plan that in advance, or did you surprise?
No, I'm really kind of like go by the wind when I take my road trips. I usually plan more than I can actually do, and then I cross some off the list when I feel I can. So on this last trip, my plan was to go to Monterey, to Los Angeles, to San Diego, to Utah, and then over to Death Valley, and then back up to Wairika. And it certainly didn't go anything like that. It went Santa Cruz, and then Monterey. And then I went to LA and Pasadena. And then I skipped San Diego. And it was when I was in Pasadena that night that I decided to go to Mesa. And Travis had found out about my road trip about a week prior. And he has this way of kind of guilting me, not in a bad way, just like making me sort of feel bad. So he said, well, why don't you come to Mesa instead and you can visit me? And I was like, no,
And that's why she sneaked in through the garage dog door.
I mean, that's how I make all of my boyfriends come in. So, Mr. Mo says have them pay a bill on their way out. But if they use the dog door, then technically they haven't entered.
Look at this happy face. Isn't he happy? Look at this. He is over himself of joy. Don't you see that? He really likes me doing this. Yeah.
His face is my mood most days. Get off my lawn. I hate everyone. You all will die one day, and I will feast on your souls.
That is one of my goals for later in life, that when I can just sit on the porch with a beverage and a cigar and yelling at people to get off my property. I mean,
that's kind of my goal. Like if I see you, you have done past at least 13 purple trees and it's on.
You're in range, it's called.
Yes.
I have other things that I need to do and other plans and other people. I didn't say it in that way because you have to kind of be delicate about it. Otherwise, he would take offense, I think. And so he would say things like, okay, I see, whatever. I see how it is. You don't love me, just as a joke though. And so it just kind of pulls on my heartstrings a little. And again, I was weak and I folded and I decided that I'm going to go. And so I called him when I was in Pasadena and said, guess what? And he said, what? And I said, I'm coming to Mesa. And he said, really? And I said, yeah. He's like, all right, cool. And so, we hung up the phone and I drove, and I told him he didn't have to wait up for me because, I was still in Pasadena, and that's probably a good 5 hours and something, just all the way to Mesa. So, and as well as that, my phone was about to die. So, I just said, if I don't speak to you again until I get there, then, that's why. And so I showed up, I think around 4 a.m. And he was still awake. He had stayed up all night. He was on the internet looking at some videos on YouTube, some silly videos. And we watched some more videos for a little while. And then it was just like I was exhausted from the drive. So we just went to bed and went to sleep. And,
That's not what the picture.
With regard to the videos that he was looking at, we've heard something about quicker, faster, stronger, something like that. They weren't of any sexual nature, were they?
no.
And in fact, it may have been, the way you described it, that it was some people with some sort of weird or funny headgear that were just dancing around. So
Yeah,
you described it,
it
right?
looked that way, yes.
And so you actually left Wairika on June 2nd of 2008, correct?
Yes,
And prior to that, though, you made some preparations, didn't you?
yes,
You made some preparations in the sense that, according to you, you made a reservation to rent a car, right?
right.
And the reservation to rent the car was made not in Wairika, but in some other place, right?
It was made online. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, in Reading, for Reading, yes.
Right. And Wairika does have some rental car companies, correct?
That's correct.
And in fact, what happened was that when you went to Reading to rent the car, you even had to, for lack of a better term, inconvenience somebody else to take you to get your car, to get the rental car, and then take you back to their house, right?
That's right.
And it would have been much more convenient in Wairika to go rent the car in Wairika, wouldn't it?
Not for my bank account, no.
Well, when you're saying your bank account, you're talking about financial reasons, right?
Right.
And how much money did you take with you in cash?
I don't recall, but it was probably a few hundred, I think.
So when you say a few hundred, are we talking about 200?
Maybe that's not much more, somewhere in that ballpark. It was between like 80 and 200. I don't remember the exact amount.
So it's between $80 and $200, maximum being $200, right?
I think. I don't really remember as far as cash.
Well, could it have been $300?
Great
I think
answer.
it could have. I don't remember having that much cash on me, but I guess it could have.
If you don't remember having that much cash on you, then
There's a vast difference between having $80 and $300. And that when you say several $100, that's more than 200.
Okay, quick English lesson. 100, a couple, few, and then several, 3 or more. It's. I feel like I'm on the effing Price is Right. I'm going to go 301, Bob.
Did you have any change? Was it all in ones? I mean,
Did you have a sock full of quarters? What is going on here? A pair of nunchucks.
yeah.
it wasn't $300, right?
Well, it just means I don't remember. Probably not.
All right. And so previously during the direct examination, you told us that when you go on these trips, you don't take usually more than $200. Do you remember telling us that?
Yeah, that's typical.
And so in this particular case, you said, well, I had financial issues, and so I decided to rent out of Reading because it was cheaper, right?
That's right.
But it would have been more convenient, though, to rent from Wairika, correct?
Convenient for who?
You.
No.
In terms of picking up the car, it wouldn't have been convenient?
No.
Well, Wairika, you told us, was a small town, right?
Yes.
And you indicated that everybody sort of knows everybody there, right?
That's pretty much the case.
And the other thing that you told us about Wairika was that people know everybody else's business there, right?
Usually.
Right. And in fact, one of the examples that you gave us of where people in Wairika know what's going on was the example when you were 17 and you went to, or you skipped the class. Do you remember telling us that?
Yes.
It was a history exam that you had to prepare for, right?
That's right.
And you indicated that you went somewhere in the car and you were studying, right?
Yes.
And while you were studying, your father found you, right?
Yes.
And one of the explanations or reasons that you gave for that was that Wairika is a very small town, right?
I don't remember giving that explanation because that's not why he found me.
Well, you indicated that you don't know how he found you, right?
I knew how he found me.
Well, that's not what you told us on direct examination.
Oh, I mean, I knew why he went to go looking for me. How he found me was he was just driving around. I'm sorry.
Ma'am, that's not what you told us on direct examination, right?
I don't remember. That's not the fact.
Again, do you have problems remembering what you just told us less than a couple of weeks ago?
Occasionally, I guess.
And in this particular case, you're having trouble remembering what you told us as to how your father found you, right?
I'm having trouble with how you're characterizing it, I think.
Well, again, we're going to get into this word exchange issue, but my question to you is, do you remember telling us on direct examination that Wairika is a small town and that's part of the reason or how your father found you? Do you remember telling us that?
Yes.
And so Wairika in 2008 is not much bigger than it was in 1997 or 1998 when this happened, right?
No, I think it's about 1,000 more in population.
Right. It's only 1,000 more in population. In other words, it's not a town that's exploding in terms of population, right?
Yes.
It is or it is not.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry.
And so that in people in Wairika, if somebody does something, more likely than not, they may end up meeting somebody that they know, right?
Yes.
So, for example, if you went to one of the two or either of the two car rental agencies that are there in Wairika, somebody may have been able to know or talk about it later if they were asked about it, correct?
Perhaps people wouldn't know me though because I hadn't lived there for 10, 15 years.
But they may have, right?
Some of you have high school friends or something.
Again, it's not a very large town, right?
Yes.
And in fact, what's the population is what, 11,000?
I think it's 7,000. 7,000 something, yeah.
And you, at the time, back in June 2nd of 2008, you were working, right?
Yes.
And where you were in this town, there aren't that many bars, right?
I think there are like 5 or 6 bars.
And there isn't one called Margaritaville, right?
No, there's not.
You worked at Casa Ramos, right?
Yes.
And you had some time off, didn't you?
Yes.
And this was going to be part of your vacation, right?
Road trip, yes.
The road trip was your vacation.
Did you freeze up or did?
No, it's still going. Oh, this is from Vielhammer Media.
There isn't one called Margaritaville, right?
No, there's not.
You worked at Casa Ramos, right?
Yes.
And you had some time off, didn't you?
Yes.
And this was going to be part of your vacation, right?
Road trip, yes.
The road trip was your vacation, right?
It was partially vacation, partially a business trip.
And when you say partially business trip, what you're saying is, for example, that if you went to buy gas, that's something that could be deductible, correct?
If it was for the business purpose, yes, it would be deductible.
Sure. And in fact, since you were going to go to Utah, going to a gas station, it would make sense to save the receipts so that you could then deduct them from your income taxes, right?
That's right.
And in this particular case, wouldn't matter whether or not you paid cash or you paid with a credit card, right?
It wouldn't matter for tax purposes.
Right, as long as you had the receipts, right?
Yes.
And in this case, so you did pay at least attention to the receipts that you got, for example, from the gas station, right?
What do you mean by pay attention?
Kept them.
Yeah, I just threw everything in a shoebox.
Right, you threw everything in the shoebox, everything related to this trip, right?
Yes.
All of the receipts from this trip were thrown in the shoebox that we've seen previously, right?
No, probably not all, but just whatever was left over in my wallet.
Well, but you were trying to pay attention to keep the receipts that were related to a business expense, right?
Somewhat. I'm very disorganized, but that's kind of my effort, yeah.
Well, no, that's what you were attempting to do, right?
Yes.
And in fact, you did say some of the receipts involved with this particular trip, right?
Yes.
And so you're in Wairika and you decide instead.
Thank you, Peace Peony, for gifting 5 memberships. It went to Thierry, Unbronzed Aussie Laura, Samantha Joe, Value 87, and Kyle Robertson. I will put up a link on my YouTube page so you can get access to my Discord. And you now have access to a whole lot of members-only content. Thank you so much, Peace Peony.
To rent a car from Redding, California, right?
Yes.
And that's south of Wairika, correct?
Yes, on my way.
And it is on the way, but it is south, correct?
Yes.
And it's what, 90 miles away?
I think it's 99 miles.
So in terms of travel, we're talking about what? Close to 2 hours?
Maybe just under 2 hours, I think.
And on this particular day that you left, on June 2nd of 2008, you left the house around 5 o'clock in the morning, something like that, right?
Yeah, I think so. It was very early in the morning.
Well, you were at the Redding airport by 8 o'clock, weren't you?
Yes.
And so did you get there before 8 o'clock and just wait around, or did you get there about the same at that time?
I don't remember waiting. Well, I waited a little bit because there was a line, but not waiting for them to open.
And somebody was with you, correct?
Yes.
A guy was with you, right?
I can't remember if it was my brother's neighbor or my sister-in-law, but I think it was my sister-in-law. So either one of them dropped me off and picked me up or vice versa.
So when you're saying that they dropped you off and picked you up, what you're saying is that they did not get out of the car that took you to the Redding airport, correct?
I don't remember.
You don't remember whether or not they went up to the...
Okay. And there is the usual. Okay, this might be a good cutoff point. We have done it this for 1 hour and 10 minutes. And yeah, that's Jodi for today. Saturday will be a longer stream. And I have heard from sources from Dave that he will not be joining on Saturday. He will abandon you all on Saturday as well. And so I will host and everything. I might need a co-host if you have time.
I should be able to do that. I think I am. My mother is a professional Black Friday shopper. I am not. I was generally her professional line holder. She was the more, aggressive go-getter, and I was fine to just stand in line. But I'm with the advent of the internet. I know Fedorowski. Dave went off to get cigarettes, and he's like, "Kids, I'll be back." I swear. We just stay by the window. But yes, I should be fine
Mm.
for Saturday. So,
Yeah.
and we need to go over the transcripts and figure out a time to do that.
Mm. Okay, I'm replacing because I don't know if redirect will work, but I posted it in my stream. Hold on while I post it in Dave's. So you can choose. I don't know if he is redirecting to Baker or not. He might be redirecting to Baker. But so just so you get the choice at least. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. But if you have a hard time choosing, go with Baker. He is having a baking stream, I think.
Yes, I think so. I saw something about that.
Yeah. Let's see. I saw it. I think I saw it. I think I saw something about Napoleon's hat. Baking Danish cake named after Napoleon's hat because of the shape. At least it's not like Jodi's description of Travis Peen. That would be Salbert's stream.
Salbert and I will be baking spotted dick on Saturday. I swear to goodness, the first time I read Harry Potter, and I was, I think, a junior in high school, so I should have been older, but as soon as I read that dessert name, giggled like a third grader on the playground.
Okay, Baker is scheduled for 12:30 p.m. Okay, then I posted the link to my next stream that will start now, according to my numbers. So, yeah, thank you all for showing up. Jodi Day, Saturday, long stream. Very comfortable.
Mail person is at my door, so I will be right back. Or
Okay,
if you're ending this, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm ending. Yeah, okay. Okay. Bye, everybody. And by the way, Dave, I won! See you in a bit. Bye-bye.